My mics are going up. Hello, good morning. Thanks a lot for staying tuned on this Democracy Day 2019. June 12th is the daytime check, 8:16, and it's time for the locker room here on Smooth Breakfast. I'm Ayo Mairo Ese.
And I'm Valentine Ohu.
And with us is the one, the only Tega Supreme, aka Tega Tiger,
Good morning, Lagos.
aka Tega Fierce.
Uh-uh.
All right, so
AKA Tega Sasha. While we are here.
all right, so we're going to be talking all things sports in the next few minutes, at least up until 8:45. And if you'd like to join the conversation, we welcome you to do so. If you're sitting pretty at home, we would love for you to tune in on our YouTube channel and not just listen to us, but also participate visually as well. We're streaming live on YouTube, and YouTube is Smooth 981. You can just about catch Tega's hand wave to you just now on YouTube. And beyond YouTube, we're also on WhatsApp and on Twitter.
WhatsApp number 0809 444 0981.
And Twitter is at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag LockerRoom981. Okay, so let's start in the world of basketball. Durant flies to New York to undergo MRI. Warrior State forward Kevin Durant flew to New York City yesterday and was set to undergo an MRI on his injured
Achilles.
So league sources revealed that the team believes the MRI will confirm an Achilles tear that Durant suffered in Golden State's 106-105 win over the Toronto Raptors in Game 5 of the NBA Finals on Monday.
Yes, the drama in this game, I must confess, I have said a lot of things about Kevin Durant. He's a side chick. He jumped on the championship train. They didn't really need him. They won without him. They will win without him. I know everything I've said about Kevin Durant, but yesterday when he pulled up, I actually tears fell down my eyes. It's the worst thing that can happen to a person.
Yeah.
It started from the fact that there was noise in the there's noise around the club that the team that he was going to be moving. Then he picked up this injury. Then there was questions about his commitment to the team. That why is he not back? What was the injury that's causing him not to stay out this long? That's causing him not to come back. That maybe he's not committed. Maybe his heart is no longer in it. This, that, and the other. And then the guy, which is one of the reasons why I think they also rushed the guy back into the game. Because for me, I thought Kevin Durant is done for the season. Let him heal and come back next season. And next thing I know, they said he trained and he was going to play in Game 5. I was like, this guy is nowhere near 60% enough to play. But he gets on the court, and just as he's trying to help his team to stay longer in this series, he tears his Achilles. For me, it's the worst thing that can happen to a person. I don't care who the person is. It is bad. And so it was such sad news for me. But he's in good spirits, and he's hopeful that he'll be able to heal and come back quickly. But it's not a good place for anybody to be. Having said that, I have to say this again about the Golden State Warriors. They are in a sad situation. Of all their key players, the only person that is close to 80% fit
80
to play is Steph Curry, and even he is carrying an injury on his hand. So you're looking at this team, and I don't want to take anything away from Toronto Raptors, but the reason why they are in this position right now is because of all the injuries that Golden State Warriors have. And Iggy is playing. Iguodala is playing. He's a walking wounded. So is Klay Thompson. So is Cousins. So is Looney. Every single person has a problem, and so it's not a good place for Golden State Warriors to be, but they've managed to get themselves in Game 6, and they're playing Game 6 in Oakland, which is their home court, so hopefully that will give them a different kind of boost. But to win this series now with all these injuries is very tricky. So Toronto Raptors, oh God, Kawhi is about to win a championship without me. Lord have mercy on my soul. This is a good time. Please make it perfect. But that's what it's looking like right now, and I think the Toronto Raptors can smell blood in the water, and they are going to try and take advantage of it.
All right. So, head coach of Nigeria's women's team, Thomas Deneby, has said yesterday's clash against the Korea Republic at the ongoing Women's World Cup will be a battle. And now Denby has put it's talking about Tuesday's clash actually. Denby has put the loss in Reims behind and says he's optimistic of progressing to the round of 16. In his words, here's how he described it. So first of all, we have to focus on winning our next game against South Korea, because if we do not have 3 points, then we're totally out. So we want to win this game, and I know it's the same situation as South Korea. Definitely, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I mean, he's thinking about it between the two matches remaining at South Korea and France, and between the both of them, the most likely place to get 3 points would be South Korea. There's no hope against France.
The match is for next Tuesday.
The match is for today, actually.
So how come they say?
So the press conference was on Tuesday. Yesterday, yes.
Okay.
And so it makes sense for him to say, if you don't get 3 points here, then we are done. And I agree with him. There's no need hoping against hope, but sometimes you need to. I mean, if you have nothing else to lose, you might as well just throw everything and go for it. So if you do ask me, yes, they were a bit nervous against Norway. I keep saying that maybe they could have had something if they were not so shaky, and if they played as a team, they were not communicating with each other both defensively and offensively. I'm not going to talk about the pace of the midfield, because the Norwegians didn't really run or didn't really move the ball from wing to wing against Nigeria. I think the biggest problems were that defensively, the goalkeeper wasn't talking to her defenders. The defenders weren't talking to each other. So sometimes Ohale and Ebi were going for exactly the same ball when they could have been protecting a little better. So if there's a bit of a communication, play as a team instead of every individual on his or her own, on her own, trying to bring her talent to the table, it would be a better result. And you're talking about a South Korean side. They play as a unit. Yes, they lost by 4-0 against France, but they have a system, they have a principle, they're tactically good, they're technically good. And so it will be difficult if Nigeria doesn't play as a team, doesn't play with each other, doesn't play off of each other, then they're going to be easily picked apart by this side. And so hope coach has spoken to them about that and told them not to feel nervous. Nobody's expecting anything of them anyways. So it might as well, so there's no extra pressure. So I wonder why they're nervous. And so they need to go for it from the blast of the whistle, and they need to keep up that momentum for 94 minutes, because that's how long it might take. Ultimately, I don't know. I'm not as hopeful as Denabi, but he's the one that is in training. He's the one that selected his team. So we watch and we support our girls, whatever the results.
We support our girls, absolutely. All right, let's go on to tennis and talking about boys against girls. In this case, Dominic Thiem offers to play doubles with Serena Williams. Why are you laughing, Tega? So Austrian world number 4 Dominic Thiem has offered to play doubles with Serena Williams at Wimbledon to put their French Open dispute behind them. So he said, probably it was not Serena's mistake. I find her achievement unbelievable, sensational. I would like to make amends with her in Wimbledon or US Open mixed doubles. In retrospect, it was funny that such an organizational mistake happened at a Grand Slam tournament. What I do not understand is that it blew up so much.
It was not supposed to blow up. Don't you know it's Serena? Isn't that why you picked the fight? Because it was Serena?
Serena, exactly.
Yeah, so that's why. Why is he saying he doesn't understand why it blew up? He doesn't understand the gravity or the status of the player he's coming up against. I'm telling, look, he could have done this with an apology. You don't have to play with me to make amends. Just say, I'm sorry, that I shouldn't have, it wasn't your fault. I shouldn't have been talking to you. I should have been, and he could have said this over the phone. He didn't need to come and give it in a press conference. He didn't need to, look, this guy understands the status of the person he's coming up against, and he's using it to ride. He did not win French Open, so let me find another way to stay in the news. Dude, we don't want. We accept the apology, whether given or not given. We've moved on from you.
Well, guess what? We're talking about it.
No, I have to talk about it because it's content.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
which is the motive?
But for him to get Serena to play for him, it's not like they can't be blackmailing Handy. You know how it is. If you beg somebody in private, it's different from if you beg someone in public. You may be trying to play on the fact that there are other people around, and based on that, the person will forgive you easily. I think that's what he's trying to do.
So
Wants to play mixed doubles.
Leverage on a public apology, if you will.
Why didn't he call her on the phone?
Because this thing happened publicly, so it's only right.
Right.
if
But
you
he
want
should
to
have
make
just said,
amends.
okay, I am sorry. I didn't think it was her fault.
Mm.
Not that let's play mixed double. So he wants to benefit from this thing now.
Of course.
So let's know what you are. Are you manipulating to make some money or some name, or are you really apologizing?
All right.
You're
Well-
monetizing this. You're monetizing this apology.
So talking about monetization, we have to monetize this show. We'll be back
Yeah.
after this break. It's still Locker Room 90 right here on Smooth 98.1.
The guy is manipulating it.
Hello, Idris.
Hello, Idris.
So Idris is saying, okay, you win South Korea. Do you want to run France over beg? Pack your jerseys and bags. I'm waiting for you. I'm going to laugh. That's so savage.
That's so
Idris.
savage.
Actually, are you not pro-Nigerian? We suspect you. And today's Democracy Day. You are not patriotic.
Me, I don't want to. Me, I didn't tell them to give us holiday.
Which one?
I did not ask for holiday. Oh yeah,
Now,
it's
what
not.
for you, Valentine.
I did tell you. He said,
Let me see how.
I will not come to his house.
Look at how that happened. Look at. Wow.
I will not come to his house.
Val,
How come
Val.
if you sit on Valentine, that's how
If you sit on Valentine's chair,
This is how you sit on this chair.
I'm telling you, you give your hand. Say,
You
said he'll give you he'll give it hand
Hand
sanitizer
Say,
before you
do
can
have
drop
hand
your hand.
sanitizer at the beginning of
At the door.
At your door.
Yes, I have two on both
Exactly.
sides of my door.
Exactly.
And
One
then
for
when
the right
when
hand,
you
one for
step
the
in,
left hand.
when you step in, there's
Wash your feet.
No, there's a rubber shoe that you have to wear. So you have to
Now
wear
see,
a
we're not
floor.
surprised.
Yeah,
Such an
and there are like
OCD.
5 foot mats between the door, the space between the entrance, and then before you get to the main. So people are asking.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
now.
continue.
I will not come to yours. Look at you. To do what? What's happening
As if I
there?
have more OCD than you.
Are they sharing money?
Or you, Ayo.
You have OCD, severe
Wow,
one,
you
like
have.
Nadal level
Don't mind
OCD.
him. And you see,
It's not that bad.
no,
It's that bad.
don't be too sad. Geniuses have OCD, that actually, or genius or genie. Yeah, genius have.
Focus on my genius and leave my.
Genies or genius.
What's wrong with you? Even slow people have OCD. What are you saying? Which one are you doing? Everybody has. Your case
Oh
is
my
severe.
days.
I'm telling you, this Valentine.
No, Valentine needs a little bit of help.
No, I need a lot of
He
money.
needs.
What he needs is one
If
crazy
you have
woman.
money to be worse, so because then
I'm telling you.
just say,
What he needs is a crazy woman. That be like, they know they mash ground again. Sure. That's what he needs.
you need an Urobo woman.
No, I cannot say that for him, but I can.
They will finish you.
Just be, no, she may not
Women
to.
are special. Urobo women are special.
She may not to, but she will not.
They are very special.
This thing will not walk around. I cannot tiptoe around my own house.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What is it, Valentine? It's nothing clean.
It's good to be clean.
alright.
Koji. Oh my goodness. Idris said Valentine, the Loma of West Africa, first of his name, King of Cleaning.
Idris!
That's his new name,
I'm coming for you.
Loma of West Africa.
Imagine.
Koji said, I saw Offer is so hilarious. Valentine is a clean freak. He's the clean freak. Like, he's literally, and not just in cleanliness, in other things. If you see him touching the knobs when I'm sitting here, it's because he's thinking, oh, volume. And I just look at him. Initially, I want to slap his hand off, but I just thought, you know what, let him just, it's biting him. So let him bite, let him do it.
And a very good day.
Yeah,
I'll play your
sit
tape, Ayo. Don't
What
worry.
tape?
You've had your day, right?
Well, going back on Mike's up. Don't you just love some jazz? All right, this is Smooth 98.1, and when you hear quality music, you know you are tuned in and locked down. All right, this is the Smooth Breakfast Show, and of course, it is the Locker Room with Tega, and we're talking sports.
Yes, we are. We have messages on YouTube.
New name, and the name is Loma of West Africa. You need to be watching us on YouTube and seeing what goes on behind the scenes to understand why. But thanks, Idris Abiodun, for that new name.
Yes, Idris Abiodun actually sent a message saying, "Happy Democracy Day, guys." The Super Falcons coach trying to butter us up. Okay, win South Korea. Do you want to run France over? I beg, pack your jerseys and bag, and we're waiting for you at Mortala.
That is savage.
All right, messages. More messages on WhatsApp.
Yes, Biggie from K2 says, please, Tega, explain. Tell me how USA trashed Thailand in another dimension. Did they use them to train for the finals, or was this a fixed match? I just wished our girls could do this today.
Yeah. Chimobi Victor said, congratulations to the United States team for disgracing and dismantling Thailand last night. While for the Falcons against Korea, all I need from this is like a team. And he continues to say Toronto Raptors will still be crowned champion. Tega, forget about the Golden State Warriors, Granda. Okay.
And then Kosiko says, we are all seeing the gear being bent by Kepa. Didn't see that one coming.
All right. Now let's look at Caster. She's still in the news. As Olympic 800-meter champion, Caster Semenya cruised to victory over 2,000 meters at the Marathon de Montreal, her first race since filing an appeal against the IAAF's ruling to restrict testosterone levels in female runners. Semenya finished in 5 minutes 38.19 seconds ahead of Ethiopia's Hoai Feza and Adenek Ambeza in Paris. I'm a talented athlete. I'm not worried about anything, she said. I can run any event I want. It can be 100, 200 meters. The long jump, the heptathlon, you name it. The double Olympic and 3-time world champion added this. She said, even if I have to withdraw from the 800 meters, it doesn't matter no more. I think I've won everything I ever wanted. I'm not an idiot, she continues. Why would I take drugs? I'm a pure athlete. Not a cheat. They should focus on doping, not us, and that's the truth.
And that's all right, because they're a little more. It seems they're a little more lenient with people that dope, than with people that were born a certain way. She just goes on. So this was for her. I would say this was to tell the IAAF, you can't take me out of the sport. Yeah. Like if you stop me from running 800 meters by some miracle, if you appeal and CAS grants your request, I will run the 2,000 meters and I will win. It's not that she will just compete, she will win. Because I know that she did compete in the 1,500 meters a few times. One time she came third. The other time she won, but I think there was one person, the favorite to win that particular race wasn't available. So I mean, some people would question that, okay, perhaps she wouldn't have won if the lady was available. But this is 2,000 meters and she's still winning.
I'm telling you,
it was the way she cruised to the end. And so she's just saying that if they try to remove her from 800 meters, I will do the sprints. Yeah. And I will win. And people can't stop me from competing. At the end of the day, I just think Sebastian Coe is sitting in his office right now and just seething. But there's nothing he can do. This lady has said, this is how I am. I'm not going to change myself to become something else. And the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, they say they're trying to combat a particular number of female athletes, but she seems to be the face. Yes. Of the people they're trying to take out. So it seems a little more targeted. And at the end of the day, she's just telling them, I'm here to stay. Whatever you want.
I'm here to win as well.
Whatever politician they decide to go into. Claudio actually sent another message on YouTube. He says, please, is it true the United States team beats Thailand 13-0? I beg, if we qualify, we go come face them. Let's go gingerly out now rather than get humiliated.
Talking about that US story, we're about to go into that now. US opens that's the Women's World Cup campaign with record route defense play. So Alex Morgan scored a record-tying 5 goals as the United States opened its campaign with a tournament record 13-0 win over Thailand in Group F yesterday in Reims, France. After the match, manager Jill Ellis defended her team's aggressive style of play even late in the match when results was beyond doubt. She said, this is a world championship. So every team here has been fantastic to get to this point. And I think that to be respectful to opponents is to play hard against opponents.
Thank you.
It's a tournament where goal differential is important.
Yeah, and that's how mean she was. I mean, think about it. This woman was already, I think, 8 goals up, and she brought in Carly Lloyd. Like, who does that kind of wickedness? Do you understand?
I love it.
She was ready. In her mind, she was like, since we're already training, let's just train to the fullest. But what it is it in as much as people say, oh, because of this now, I have a little bit of disrespect for the women's game, that will be your ignorance at play. Because if you think that just yesterday again, Germany beat Estonia in a European qualifier, and in the men's on the men's side, then I mean, 8-0 and 13-0 may seem a little distant, but it's not. If they had the opportunity, they would have beaten some more. Think about it, like Germany is playing against St. Kitts and Nevis. It'll be 23-0. So and that's what I'm saying. So it's the quality of opposition, not necessarily the quality of the women's game in total. I would say this, for New Zealand, they come into this competition, they played Fiji, Tonga, and St. Cook's Island. I don't need 11 players to beat either one of those teams. With all due respect, I need 5 Ayimba girls, 5 girls from Aba.
Yes.
5. I will beat St. Cook's Island. I'm not even joking. But that's the quality of opposition New Zealand played to get to the World Cup. And then they get to the World Cup and they're facing a team like the European champions, the Dutch. But they were able to hold the Dutch until, I think, the 92nd minute before they conceded 1 goal. But the Dutch had created so many chances. So at this point in time, you have to think about which continent they qualified from. And so when you look at the continent that they qualified from, then you can understand why they are getting thrashed the way that they are thrashed. It's not an indictment on women's football. They are fantastic women's football team, especially the women's football team from Europe. Those teams are amazing, from Germany to Italy to Spain to Holland. Just think about it, they are amazing. But sometimes when you see teams from Africa,
why do we always
Asia, some Asian teams, not all, some Asian teams, some Oceania teams, they are going to be coming with buckets to pack goals. So just enjoy the goal and go home.
All right, so Belgium maintained their 100% record in Group 1 after Romelu Lukaku's double helped them to a 3-0 win over Scotland in Brussels. Defeat leaves Scotland in 4th, 6 points behind Roberto Martinez's side, and 3 points behind second place Russia, with 6 games of their qualification campaign remaining.
Yes, and so with the World Cup qualifiers going on, a lot of teams getting to go down, and this is, for me, this result is not surprising. It's just that Lukaku scored 2 goals, but he could have scored a double hat-trick. And I know if you watch the game, you talk again about his poor first touch, you talk again about his ball control, this, that, and the other. He scored a brace. End of discussion. And Belgium won. So what it is was, for me, the question would be that during the World Cup qualifier, why wasn't there VAR used in this game? Because I think the second goal, in the build up to the goal, Kevin De Bruyne was offside, and then he took the shot that Lukaku rebounded and scored his second goal. So with VAR, that may have been cancelled, and the game was still at an interesting point at that time. So anything could have happened. So for me, it'll be a question of, if you're going to use VAR at the championships itself and at the World Cup, and if VAR has come to stay, why wasn't it used in that particular game? But very interesting results all around, with Spain winning, Italy winning, with Insigne scoring a stunner of a goal. And then, of course, I mentioned the Germany win. And then France, after losing to Turkey, coming back to win against Andorra. Impressive. But let's see how the qualifiers go as we go on.
Let's see. I'm just looking at you and smiling. After Man U and Liverpool.
You don't know. I can watch TV for days, man.
All right. Still on football, Paul Pogba insists he's judged differently. He has dismissed criticism of his body language and haircut after insisting that he is judged differently to other footballers. He said, I always play like that, and thank God I won the World Cup like that. And he goes on to say that it's only when he plays badly that people criticize these things.
Yes, but what, and it's so true, because sometimes it's when you do bad things and they remember all the flaws that you have. But what it is that that's how he's always played. And it probably is one of the reasons, if you ask me, that I suspect that Alex Ferguson was willing to let such a potential talent go, because he really is a bundle of talent. But what Sir Alex Ferguson may have been worried about was the character, how disciplined he is, how focused he appears, how committed, how serious he takes his career. And so those are things I think that Sir Alex Ferguson would have questioned before letting him go. But he's proven that he's a winner. Like he said, he's won the World Cup, he's won with Juventus, and I'm hearing rumors that he may be moving back to Juventus. But Real Madrid, Zinedine Zidane is fighting to get him to Spain. So there's still a lot of people that recognize the talent and realize that if we can just harness what he has, if we can just learn to control his mood swings, we'll probably be able to squeeze out all the results we desire from him. And yes, he's going to be judged differently. They paid good money for you. Your money was not 2 naira, you know. So when you have that kind of record transfer fee, you have to be delivering record results. And if you are not delivering record results, don't be upset with people that are angry with you, because the expectation was why they gave you so much money.
Yes.
So accept that you are judged differently. Now that you know, can you now perform differently?
Perform differently. All right, that's our message to you, Pogba. Listen to Tega. All right, we're going to break now. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up the locker room, reading your messages, and maybe taking a story before we go.
All these people that are saying Nigeria to beat South Korea, you will all cry together.
That was really...
That Nigeria will beat South Korea.
Who said that?
Some people are saying it on Twitter.
When they come back to revenge,
They will all cry together.
No, but I'm rooting for South Korea.
No.
Guys, who are you rooting for?
I'm supporting Nigeria.
I'm rooting for Nigeria. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Time.
I meant Nigeria. I'm patriotic to the very end. Even
I'm
if
supporting Nigeria.
even if they spell President Buhari, I will still
you did
support.
not ask me who I placed my bet on. You said, who are you supporting? I'm supporting Nigeria. Where I place my bet is 2 different things. You understand? I'm supporting Nigeria. With pepper, chicken, and malt.
I'm supporting Nigeria.
So, you understand that you're the one buying pepper, chicken, and beef?
But yeah, you guys, you just did that. Thank God it's Friday once, and we never.
He's a terrible person.
Oh, very terrible.
You don't realize you're the one buying the pepper chicken.
Sorry, what's pepper chicken?
Don't worry, just give me your card. I will buy it.
Exactly.
When I buy it, I will show you a picture. After I've had it, I will eat it.
Exactly.
You don't need to know. What you need to do is provide your card. I will take it from there. Oh, now that I said that, I remember that movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. All you need to do is wake up and I'll take it from there and say, I want to love, Lord, I want to love.
She wants to love.
No, that kind of man, no, not this Valentine one. Don't drop
No,
it
what are
here.
you trying to say?
Keep the Bible straight.
Are you trying to
Keep
say
the
that
paper bent.
Valentine is
This
not
Valentine.
No.
This Delta man.
No
romance.
I
Simple.
protest.
In fact, I dare say there are not many romantic Nigerian men.
Can you guys take that? Did you hear
It's
that?
not your fault. It's that NEPA did not bring light.
Did you hear
you're
that?
worried about a lot of things.
Please prove Tega wrong. On Monday, when next she's here, send her chocolate, send her flowers,
Don't
her
send me
food.
flowers. I'm not
She
a
likes
goat. Send
expensive
me pepper
food.
chicken.
Look at you. I think they're not romantic. You're the one who is not romantic.
No. She said me romantic. Romance is about what the person likes,
Yes.
not what you want
It's
to
not
give the
about
person.
Tega. Romance
So-
is then you don't do dates and chocolates because please, you people should surprise, shame the devil. She has just said that you people are not romantic. If
No,
I'm
you're
the one,
not.
if I were the one and I'm listening to Tega, I'll just vex like this.
I'm telling you.
Order stuff.
I'm telling
Send
you.
limousine.
I'm telling
Take
you.
her out to
I'm
eat.
telling
When you
you.
like eating, where your
Hey!
where those expensive places? Take her to where's that Eco Atlantic? There's a new restaurant there. Oh, yeah, but there are nice places in Nigeria.
Please consult me. I'm her manager.
Yeah, whatever. So
I beg. I don't want
Thank
this
you.
man.
All this one that I've been saying.
Somebody
Peter,
else
all
will do
this
the marketing.
saliva
Somebody
and
else will be chopping.
Yes, now that's why.
Is it not your mates that will come and take me out?
Exactly. Speak it, Tega. Tell it to them.
Called separation of roles.
Nah.
Just buy the pepper chicken. Let's start
Separate-
from there today.
Separate the
Pepper
role in
chicken
that
was
way.
very- that's very small.
Okay, guys, we're back on. Mic's up. You're welcome back. It's still Smooth 98.1, the locker room here as part of Smooth Breakfast. I'm Ayo Mairo Ese.
And I'm Valentine Ohu.
And of course, Tega is here. We'll take some comments before we call it a morning. Augustine Onyeji starting us off on YouTube.
Yes, Augustine says the United States female team on fire. Loving the sports analysis from the one and only Tega. You have a lovely voice. I can listen to it all day. Oh,
Yeah.
Tega, look at that.
Now, refer to a few minutes ago on what we're discussing on
Yes.
on YouTube and then do the needful. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Please add your name to your messages. Otumba from Wamabod says Tega is such a graceful analyst. The way she employs ingenuity to break down sporting information. She's smarter than the competitors, more grace to her elbow, and less chip on the other people's shoulders.
This is the Tega show.
I love
this
it.
Morning.
I like when when your talent is working well.
Working.
It's cool.
Lookman from Ijebode says, you're all looking good and happy. That's in reference. So if you haven't added us on WhatsApp, you need to do that. We post up pictures and stories. So she says, happy holidays. Injuries or not to Golden State Warriors players, Toronto Raptors really deserve the playoffs. Hopefully Super Falcons can do the needful today.
All right. And finally from Emma in Akoka, it says, I just hope the United States are self-sufficient in rice production. Else, they shouldn't be expecting any export from Thailand anytime soon.
Don't worry.
Huge scoreline.
They will survive on burger and fries.
Love it. Thank you so much, Emma, and to everyone else who sent in messages. Really grateful. Thanks a lot to Tega at Tega Supreme on Twitter. And of course, find out the work she's doing with women in sports. LIS International is the handle. They have something fantastic coming up in a few weeks. So you want to, stay tuned to that one and find out what's about. But here we are, Valentine and myself. We're still here. We're still going to be here up until 10 a.m. as we bring you Lagos Talks 981 in a few minutes. In the meantime, enjoy some nice, smooth music.